Welcome to the DVD. I think I'd like to start off by giving you an overview of the Queen A5 variation as I see it today. What are the main themes for white and for black? Well, let's reach the mainline position first of all before we get involved in any discussion. After knight c3, the black queen goes out to a5. Over the last 5 years, since the publication of the essential centre counter, I would say that the theory on Queen A5 has developed extensively. The reason for this is fairly easy to determine. White simply wasn't getting satisfactory results with the main lines. As a consequence, a lot of strong master players have turned their attention to Queen A5 and tried to find loopholes in black's system. So black has to be more aware today than ever before about some of white's key attacking ideas in this variation. It seems to me that Queen A5 is still a very applicable variation for club players. I mean, you can play it. It's still fairly easy to learn and easy to play, but you have to know more today than you did back in 2005. Now, as white, what would I be looking at in this position if I wanted to get the advantage? Well, firstly and foremostly, I'd be thinking that black's queen manoeuvre in the opening was a loss of time. So I'd be looking to take advantage, I think, of the position of the black queen on a5. Now, there are several ways for white to do this, and black has to be aware that his queen on a5 could become a target. The most obvious and, well, brutal way is, of course, to play b4. This is the Mises gambit, and it's speculative. It's thought that black can actually grab this pawn and go on to hold the pawn with a superior position. Of course, in the hands of an attacking player, white might be able to find something, but objectively I think this gambit is unsound. However, the move b4 does give us the hint that white can take advantage using this move to attack the black queen. So if I just take this move back, perhaps a better way of handling this variation is to develop the kingside pieces first. And there's a dangerous line where if black plays knight f6 and bishop f5 before c6, he can be hit for b4 in this position. And if queen takes b4, we go rook b1. Well, of course, we note that when the queen moves, the white rook's going to come and take down on b7. This is not what black wants when he plays the centre counter. So at all stages, after queen a5, both sides have to be aware that the black queen can be attacked. Of course, another way that white can do this is to play bishop d2 very early. So if we take play on a little bit, we get the natural move sequence d4, c6, and then bishop d2. This little move c6, I would say, is indispensable in the centre counter when you play queen a5, because it gives the queen the opportunity to retreat. And as we see here, with a white knight on c3 poised to make certain discoveries against the black queen, that retreat is an essential component of black's opening plan. So this will be another way white seeks to take advantage of the position of the black queen on a5. Now, following on from this, white might be thinking about opening up the position in an advantageous way, again to take advantage of his perception that black has a lagging development. And the most obvious way of trying to do this is to break open the position using the pawn advance d4, d5. So at all stages in this variation, black has to be very careful that he does not get blown away with this move d4, d5. Just to take play back to queen a5 one more time, we'll just go down one of the main lines where white plays knight f3, black plays knight f6. It's all too easy for black to be casual in this line and to miss the right moment for d4, d5. For instance here, this is one of the main lines. And now bishop b4 is indispensable, because if you go knight bd7, which I think you'll agree with me is a very natural move, I think white can now break with d5. The classic pawn lever to open up the game. And if black plays c takes d5, white goes knight takes d5, and black can end up in a mess in this line. The main problem is, of course, the opening of the d file. Black's a long way from castling here. That could be his downfall, and white might be able to take advantage of this this open D file. So as white, again, this follows on from the exposure of the black queen. I'd be looking to play D4, D5 if I could early on. We also note that in this particular example, white has every chance of keeping the black king stuck in the middle. So once again, white must be looking for every opportunity, even if it means sacrificing a pawn, let's say, to keep the black king stuck in the middle. So black, for his part, I would say, has got to gradually consolidate the position over the first 10 to 15 moves. This is one of the main themes for black, really, to steer a comfortable course around the white tactics, to get your king to safety, and only then to effect the overall strategy in this line, which is in general light squared pressure. I'll be talking a little bit more about that in a moment. Finally, what is a theme for white? Well, if we just take play down one of the main lines, white goes d4, black plays a move like c6, let's say, and there's a main line which occurs here. White goes bishop c4, black goes e6, white goes queen e2. Now instead of knight bd7, black plays bishop b4. On some occasions, the light squared bishop can become a target for white's pieces. So black's got to be aware that although his bishop looks impressive on f5, it can sometimes be a target, both for white's pieces. Knight h4 is a characteristic move in some lines, also for the advancing white kingside pawns. There are certain lines in the Scandinavian where if black develops his bishop to f5 too early, it can be attacked by white pawns. Maybe f3, then g4, then h4, and black has to make a concession. So the bishop on f5 is controversially positioned, let's say. White's looking to take advantage of it, black is seeking to prove it's in an active location. The nice thing about black's strategy overall is that if it works really well. For instance, in one of the main lines, we'll just take play on a little bit further from this position, white gets the two bishops. Another characteristic idea in this line, but can he use them? For instance, knight e5 can be answered by b5, and then after bishop b3, black plays a very nifty manoeuvre with his bishop, bringing that bishop to d5. Here we see black is controlling light squares in the centre of the board. He's got a superb bishop on d5. Well, which piece is better? The black knight on f6 or the apparently strong white bishop on b4? This micro contest really actually defines the opening struggle in a lot of lines. White often acquires the two bishops early, but if black has no pieces on the dark squares, then the dark square bishop can often be shooting into thin air. So just to summarise, themes for white which he's got to be thinking about. 1. Is the black queen exposed on a5 or not? 2. Can he break open the position using a quick d5 or maybe even f4, f5 in certain circumstances? 3. Can he keep the black king stuck in the middle? Can he prove black's whole opening is a loss of time as a result? And finally, can white hunt down the light square bishop advantageously and gain space and time as a result? Themes for black. Okay, as black, you've got to be aware that white has all these attacking options at his disposal. So you should be looking to gradually consolidate your position over the first 10 to 15 moves, just to be content with normal development, to get your king to safety if you can. After that, light square pressure should be the order of the day, as we've seen in the variation on the board in front of you now. If you emerge from the opening without having been prized open as black, then you can look forward to light square pressure, which can become decisive as the game progresses. Right, well, that's a basic summary of the ideas. Now it's time to take you through some games where I can hopefully amplify the ideas we've just discussed. To concrete examples then, And my first game comes from a Spanish rapid tournament played in 2007 between Sinisa Drasic, who's grades 2493, and a Spanish player, Cristian Campos Toledo. And it's a graphic example of what black should avoid in the essential centre counter, and correspondingly what white should be looking to inflict on black if he can. The opening moves give no indication of the carnage to come, as black confidently plays his queen to a5, and now white plays his moves in a funny order. I don't know whether this confused black, but the variation with bishop e2 and knight f3 is rather unusual. On the face of it, it just looks like white's playing normally. He's delaying the advance of his d-pawn, and he's just preparing to castle. So black carelessly played his bishop out to f5, and now was knocked back a little by the surprising b4. This move is possible because black has left the pawn on b7 unprotected. So white's point is that if black takes the pawn on b4, he's going to go rook b1 and then bring the rook down to the 7th rank. The dangers of this active rook were very graphically exposed in the game Thomas Luther Grandmaster versus Voros. And I think I'm going to show you this miniature. This game was played in Greece in 1993. And, well, it naturally complements the game Drasic Campos Toledo, because in this game black gets absolutely hammered. One of the nice things about this line from white's perspective is that bad endgames lurk in the wings for black, even if he manages to escape the opening pitfalls due to the fractured nature of his queenside pawns. But black doesn't even reach the endgame in this particular encounter. In fact, it's the end of the game which comes much more quickly, as black for an instant looks as though he's winning that rook on b7, but white moves in with bishop a6. Black takes, white recaptures, and now black finds himself in a crushing fork. Rook comes to d8, Luther took on c6, and the rest of this game is pure misery for black, as his queen gets hounded from pillar to post, and bishop f4 sets up very unpleasant discovered attacks from the knight on e5. White has managed to combine two of the key attacking ideas against the queen a5 Scandinavian. Number one, he's pushed the black queen around, gained time, space and attacking position as a result. Number two, he's caught the black king in the middle. I'm not sure what else you could want against the Scandinavian. So the game finished very quickly here as black's just getting pushed around. White played c4, he then played c5, queen a5, and now the finishing move, knight c4. When the black queen moves, there's a crushing check on either c7 or d6 to finish proceedings. Voros resigned. If that wasn't bad enough, we now come back to the game Drasic versus Campos Toledo, and black playing queen b6. But that's already a big concession. White's gained the move b4 for free, and Drasic followed queen b6 with a4. And now black, you see, is threatened with moves such as b5, gaining space, then a5, maybe bishop a3. Black's opening variation here has been shown to be a loss of time. So black changes his mind, he takes on b4, but again, he's only invited the white rook into a very strong position on b7. And I think actually this position is really bad for black already. Campos Toledo tried knight bd7, knight came to b5, and once again we're going to see black wiped off the board here by a succession of hammer blows from white. After a6 there came rook c6, making room for a crushing check on c7. King moves, the rook disappears. Black raises his hopes momentarily by playing e5, but after rook takes f6, the position clarifies. Black takes on f5, white takes on a8, black takes on a8, white castles, g6, knight e3, and, well, white is just a piece up for nothing. So Campos Toledo resigned. Alright, two good examples, two miniatures from white there, which should heighten our sense of danger if we're black. The queen on a5 can become exposed, and if you misplay the move order in the opening, you can get hammered like this. So you have to be careful. Well, we've been discussing the possible